happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Tarnissha Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am your Vision Strategist Coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which you can better your best. And listen, we are about to be in fall, y'all. Now that the kids are back in school, it is time for us adults to get back on schedule as well. Listen, I know the summer can be absolutely fun. It's my most favorite time of the year. And I also realized that we set some goals in the beginning of 2024 that it's time for us, now that the kids are back on their schedule, to get back on our schedule so that we can leave 2024 achieving majority of the goals that we set for ourselves early in the year. It's really time for us to take back control and get ready to finish this year stronger than we ever have. So today, I'm going to give you 3 strategies for getting back on track after having, I hope you had an amazing summer. But before we get into the schedule, I want to talk about why it's important to review where you are right now. Because most people, they just keep going. They don't stop to review where they are. They'll wait till December or the new year to want to evaluate how their year went. But waiting most times is often too late. It's important to assess where you are right now so you can make the necessary adjustments and finish the year strong. Okay. So this is where the gap in the game process comes into play. And I want to be clear that one of my coaches who runs my accountability call actually taught on this recently, and I loved it. And it's called the gap in the game process, right? So this is where assessing your progress now gives you the power to make the rest of the 2024 your best year, right? So how do we do that, right? So you take a moment and reflect on your year thus far. So what were your goals in January? I want you to write them down. What is the things that you said you wanted to achieve in 2024 if they are not already written down, or if they're written down in a book in your journal that you haven't looked at in the last couple of months? I want you to pull that down. And also, I want you to look at what you have accomplished thus far. That's the game. Okay. So remember, we're talking about the gap in the game process. So when you look at where you wanted to, where you started, like, okay, January 2024, these are the things that I want to accomplish. Listen, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, last year in October, I started talking to you about where you wanted to be at the end of 2024. So you should have been writing those goals down back then, right? And if you are new, we can do this right now. So write, what did you want to accomplish? Okay. And then we want you to look and assess what have you achieved so far, and that's the game. Okay. Now I want you to take a look at what's left, right? So out of the goals I said I wanted to achieve, what have I not done? Where is there still some things that I need to get accomplished? And that's the gap. All right. So remember, but I want you to remember the gap is not failure, right? First of all, number one, we're not at the end of the year. And number two, I don't want you to look at it like, oh, I said I was going to do all these things and I didn't accomplish, or I haven't even gotten anywhere near where I wanted to be. Number one, again, if you've been rocking with me for a minute, I teach you about the one big thing, right? What's the one big thing we're going to focus on for the year? So what I want you to do is, if you're looking at it like I had, 10 things or I had 5 things and I'm nowhere near any of them, I want you to now say, what is the one thing though? What is the one thing I can get accomplished by the end of 2024? All right. And let's break it down into one thing, because that's going to really help you. Because most times people are looking for other strategies. It's like, oh, what's the strategy? What's the tactic? What is it I need to do? You need clarity on your vision. Is to get crystal clear about what it is that you really want to get done and or achieve and be successful in by the end of 2024, right? And so the gap, the place where, okay, I have more to do, or I didn't get this done, it's not failure, it's feedback. I'm gonna say it again. It's not failure, it's feedback. And we all need feedback. Feedback is data. right? So many people shy away and scared to get feedback from others, scared to get feedback on their jobs, scared to get feedback from their employees. The reason why I'm not afraid of feedback is because I understand that feedback is simply data. This is why most people don't achieve what they need to achieve, or their business is not going well. They have their employees even scared to give feedback, scared of retaliation and things of that nature. And that's not the way it should be. The way it should be is we get feedback. Feedback is data. Now, does it mean that everything that we get from the feedback, right, we do? Absolutely not. You can't do it all, right? You take the three top things that you can assess and do now, right? And that's what you work on. All right. So this gives you clarity to move forward towards the goal, towards the purpose. All right. So now that you assessed your year, right? This is what I want you to, and even if you have to stop this video to do that, listen, I don't want to come every single Sunday and I'm just talking to you guys. When I'm giving you the play, I need you to run the play. That means do the action. I taught you guys about the 90-10 rule. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago, right? We're 10% consuming content, 90% in action. I need you to be in action. All right. And so now that now I'm gonna get off my soapbox about this action. Okay. Now that we've assessed your year, right? It's time to get back on schedule. So here are the top 3 strategies that I told you I was going to give you to help you refocus and reclaim your time. All right. The first step to getting back, I know, and listen, I'm going to say this up front. I have a hard time with this thing too. And this is something that I'm actually doing this weekend. And the first thing of getting back on track is intentionally blocking off your time. Time blocking is a game changer. And so it's not, we don't just list tasks, right? You block out specific chunks of time for each thing that you need to get accomplished. So for example, right? I need to create my calendar where these are the days that I'm going to be working in the business. These are the days I'm going to be working on the business. These are the days that where I'm solely focused on, whether or not, I'm still in my career. I've been in corporate America now 27 years, so things I want to get accomplished in that. Just because I may not decided I want to be promoted doesn't mean that I don't want to go after achieving, higher bonuses or whatever. So whatever that plan is that I'm making for myself, what I do is, and what I'm going to do actually today is look at Monday, right? So Monday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right? That will be my get up, wake up, read my spiritual material, pray, meditate, get ready for the day, right? See, and it's blocked off. 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., that is my time to check emails and respond, right? Nine to whatever, I'm working in my corporate job, right? And it varies. That's why I say 9 to whatever. I'm working in my corporate job from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., right? That time is blocked off where I'm working in my systems in my business, right? So it's like blocking it off. And then here's the thing in that. So before, it was just all about the things that I needed to get accomplished in my business, in my career, which is my job. It was my daughter had cheer practice, right? So I had to block that time off. Now, what I did was when she had cheer practice, I habit stacked, right? So maybe that was the time while she was practicing for an hour, I was working out for the hour, right? Or while she was practicing for the hour, right? I'm working on my presentation for the hour. So that's where you can habit stack. But when you block off in your calendar where you're going to be, because it's great. I get it. Listen, I was a mom. I had, at any given time, it would always be 3 to 4 children living in the house. It was 6 of them, right? And I have 5 living. So I get it. I had a travel cheerleader, travel softball, and a baseball player, right? And I love sports for kids. I'm so happy that I put those last 3 in sports, right? And during that time, that's when we habit stack as parents, right? Because I realize that now, before you could leave your kids and kind of go off and do things. I understand now that some of these, sports that they play, they say the parents have to be there their entire time. Well, while you're there, there's something that you can get accomplished besides yelling at your kids on the field, right? Or just talking to, and it's okay to fellowship with other parents as well. I'm not saying that, but there's also times where you can time block off and get things done. Okay. So listen, you have to have a list of non-negotiables. What are your non-negotiables? Working out, taking care of your physical health has to be a non-negotiable. It could be time for self-care. Could be a non. And self-care can look like simply just taking time to read a book or going for a walk or sitting in nature, touching your feet in the grass, going to get a massage, or just spending time meditating, right? That's your time to love and care for yourself, right? Or any dedicated, or like your non-negotiable, be like for my non-negotiable for me right now is scaling my business. That's a non-negotiable. So whatever strategy I want to work on. So you got to make sure in your time blocking on your calendar, you have your non-negotiables in there, right? Because if it's not, listen, people don't want to believe it, but success doesn't happen by accident. It happens by schedule. I'm going to say it again. Success doesn't happen by accident. It happens by schedule. And let me tell you what success loves, okay? Success loves three things: speed, consistency, and your systems. Speed, consistency, your systems. You're only as good as your system, right? And the system includes your schedule. All right. So sit down, even if you do it every Sunday, and map out the week ahead, right? Block off your times and your priority first. Now, listen, I'm a person that likes to schedule things 30 days out because I'm like, I can't every week. Listen, I'm not doing week to week. I need 30 days. I get it though. Some people that may be too much, right? So when you get up in the morning, maybe you have to wake up an hour early on Sunday and you may not want to. However, listen, again, what do we say success loves? We got to do this. So before you start running your errands on Sunday or go to church on Sunday or go to the grocery store on Sunday, before you do those things, wake up an hour early. All you have to do is wake up an extra hour early and work on those things. I would like to say that here's how I will put this though. If you are a morning person, wake up an extra hour early. If you are a night person, extend your time at night. I get it. Some people are like, listen, my brain does not turn on in the morning. I am not a morning person. I hear you. I understand you. I see you. I get you. So do it during your night. So even if it's Saturday night because you don't want to spend Sunday night doing it because of work on Monday, that's fine too. Find the day that works best for you and time block out your schedule. Okay. It's going to change your life. These nuggets, these things that I'm giving you to work on, I promise you, this is your blueprint for success. If you didn't hear about my 90-10 rule, I'm going to need you to go back a couple of videos and actually get there. I think it was the one where I did the Cam Newton and Dr. Bryant interview. I'm not sure, but check it out. I'm telling you, these are the things that will change your life and get you walking into the places you want to be. Because when we talk about time blocking and sitting down, every single week to do this, I know it feels like a daunting task, especially for those who don't like to work on the back end things. And this is where we have to change our perspective, because these are the things that are going to make you a better mom, a better spouse, a better partner, a better friend, a better employee, a better manager, a better leader, a better boss. These are the things, because when you have it planned out, you're not scrambling around. And so therefore, when life starts to life, because it's going to happen to all of us, there's going to be things that are going to be unexpected that's going to come up. You can say, okay, I got this, right? I can, and then you may have to shift and move, but it's okay because you have a plan. You have a plan. And when you have a plan, you're prepared, right? Improper preparation prevents poor performance. The 5 P's: game changer. Game changer. Get prepared. All right. And that's not to say things don't shift, but when you look back over the year and you say, okay, these are the things I've achieved, celebrate yourself. This is where the gap is. I'm going to work on these things. I'm going to time block out September, October, November, so that in December I'm celebrating again, right? And I'm already working on what I'm going to be doing for 2025. I'm going to tell you right now, I assess my year for what I want to do the following year in October. I look at what I've achieved in 2024, where there were some gaps at in 2024, how can I switch that up? How can I pivot? How can I adjust in 2025 so that I don't come up against the same things, right? And then I put in October my goals for 2025. In December of 2024, I'm already working on what I'm doing in 2025, because the thing is, I don't believe in being behind the eight ball. I believe in being ahead of it, right? That's how I create my success system. Okay. And when I look at where 2025, what I want to achieve, I'm talking about, where do I want to be in my therapy journey? I love myself enough to go to therapy because I understand that building a business, being in a career, being a parent of adults, which is very new to me, um, being a grandparent, being a daughter, being a sister, being a friend, all of those things require so many different parts of me. And when I go to therapy, it helps me break all of that. It helped me look at all that from different lenses. Is super, super important. Okay. I also want to look at where I want to be in my spiritual journey. Where do I want to go closer to God? Where did I lapse at this year? How many times did I read the Bible? Right. And I'm not telling you who to believe in or what to believe in. That's my disclaimer. I'm going to tell you that you need a higher power to that. Okay. One thing for certain and two things for sure. It is Jesus plus therapy for me. It could be God plus therapy for you. It could be Allah plus therapy, Buddha plus universe. I don't care what you call it. I understand that there is a spiritual journey in this human life. Okay. And so that's my thing. So I look at where I want to be spiritually. Also look at where I want to be with my family. I realize my personality is a type that when I am focused on building business, sometimes I'm not as focused in my family. I'm not, like this year, we didn't go on a vacation at all. We didn't go to the beach at all. And that's something that we normally do. So now I'm going to look at 2025. That's going to be a non-negotiable. We're all going on vacation. That's happening, right? And so that was me assessing the summer. And I'm like, man, I realized I didn't do that. And that's a tradition that we normally never break. So I'm looking at where I want to be with family. I'm looking at where I want my business to be. What growth do I want in my business? How much do I want to earn in my business? How much do I want my business to grow? Right. And I'm assessing and looking at, the year. Okay. And then in 20, listen, I don't wait till January, right? I look at my physical health. Okay. I have lost weight and there's still some ways for me to go. Where do I want to be in my physical health? Right. So, and then I'm looking at my nutritional health. Where do I want to be? Okay, in 2025. That starts for me in 24. December, I'm already started. Typically, I'm not really starting in December. If I'm really honest, I usually make the plan in October, and by November, I'm walking in it. December, I'm getting comfortable with it. January, I'm off to the races. Okay. So I'm hoping you guys will take these tips and write it down, and hopefully this will be something that you will put into your schedule and into your strategy and your systems. All right. So, all right. So, all right. The number one, I'm sorry, we were talking about the three strategies, and I got stuck on number one, which is intentional time blocking. All right. Number three, focus on the big three non-negotiable each day. So every day, choose three non-negotiables that must get done, right? These should be aligned with your long-term goals. Your long-term goals is what you want to get done in December, right? By focusing on the big three, you avoid getting overwhelmed by a never ending to-do list, because I don't listen. I'm a mother. I get it. I used to have a list upon list upon list. But what are your top three non-negotiables, right? It's not about doing everything, moms and dads. It's about doing what matters most. It's not about doing everything, my leaders, my entrepreneurs. It's about doing what matters most. Getting it done early also is a game changer. I understand you may not be a morning person. However, sometimes if you sit and you break that thing out in the morning and you're done, and you can just focus on whatever the rest of the day is going to bring you. So a practical tip is to write the big three each morning, right? These are the tasks that if you accomplish them, it will move you closer to the goal. So I want to be clear on that, right? The big three is moving you closer to the goal. All right. And then you got to let everything else come second. What are the big three? All right. The third. Okay. I know. So number one was intentional time blocking. Number two, focus on the big three. The third, eliminate time wasters. Listen, we all get caught up in time wasters. Time wasters in the office could be somebody coming by the desk. When I used to go into the office, I tell people even right now, don't have me go back into the office. I've been working from home for 14 years. When I was in the office, I did less work. I'm just going to tell the truth on myself, okay? Because somebody would come over to the desk and they're talking and we're meeting at the water cooler and all that other stuff. So what that could look like a time waster for those of you who are at home, it could look like, you maybe scrolling a little bit too much on social media, or you're having endless meetings where you're meeting for the meeting about the meeting and you're getting nothing accomplished in the meeting because you're talking about everything else but what you're going to meet on, right? Endless emails. Listen, I would say that's why I said schedule off times where you're answering and you're focusing on emails, and then let it go. Okay. Or you're saying yes to things that don't matter. If it's in the way of the big three, you have to say no. Okay. And no is a complete sentence to my people pleasers out there. And I know you want to help everybody and I know you want to serve everybody. However, if you don't get the big three done, not only are you not helping, you're not serving, then you start to feel like as if, you're not successful because you're not accomplishing the things that you said you want to accomplish for you. You have to keep your commitments to your commitments of yourself. Okay. So if they're not serving the purpose, you got to get back on schedule. All right. You need to identify and cut out the distractions. That steal your time and energy. And it's not always bad things. It's not always social media. Sometimes it's our babies. I love my kids too. And so, right. So, and I know you'll be like, man, I got to put them on the schedule. Absolutely, you do. Maybe before their bedtime, that's your time where you guys spend together. And before you go to sleep at night, you speak life into them so that when they dream beautiful things, and then when they get up in the morning, you make that time too to spend that time, right? Or if you need to schedule time when they first get out of school. Listen, I work from home, so when my kids came home from school, I can say, "How was your day? Right? How did it go?" You can get back to the tradition of sitting around the table and eating dinner together, right? My kids ate when they first came home from school. I was the mom that had the meal cooked early, and yes, we ate dinner early. Typically, before they went to practice and they wanted leftovers when they came home, they did. But that was my system, right? That was my system of success, and that was set up for them. And I was always here, right? And I realized that not everybody has that privilege, so you have to set up that time with them, even if it's like, okay, you're working late, but you FaceTime them. You take that, 15, 20 minutes to FaceTime them when they get out of school. Say, hey, how was your day? However everything go. I know you got to go to practice. Can I get 5 minutes of your time? Because they're more busier than us. All right. Um, but that's what I mean by sometimes the very things that we love can be our biggest distractions. Okay, so you got to cut out the noise so you can hear the call of your goals. This is why you got to get all these voices out of your head. This is why I say talked about the 90-10 rule, old 90-10 rule of only consuming 10% of content. You got to get the noise out of your ear. Everything that everybody's talking about is not for you. Everything that everybody's talking about is not for you. As a matter of fact, some of the most negative things that you're ever going to hear are on social media, and you got to get off of that because you don't need that in your energy space. I'm telling you, I'm not going to go in the soapbox. I'm not going to go down here, especially for those of you who desire and looking for love. You got to shut it off because all that those people talking about the pee in the dating pool, they're the one that's peeing in it. There is love out here. There are people who will love you the way you desire to be loved. There are people who are looking for love the same as you are. They're not on social media. You know what they're doing? They're building their businesses and doing their things. And so you have to figure out ways to meet those people, right? And sometimes it's joining communities, being in communities of like-minded people. Your husband could be in there. And he's not the guy that's on social media screaming about what all women is or ain't. And let me tell you something, men. She's not on the social media screaming about all what men are or ain't either. And yes, I'm using the word ain't because I feel like it's just so negative. All right. They're doing things like I'm doing right now. They're creating content for people. They're loving on people. They're wanting to see people grow. They're wanting to see people successful. So where do those people go? There's your clue. All right. So, so here's a quick practical tip that help you cut out the noise. Create boundaries around your time. It's so simple. Boundaries will save your life. Use timers to limit your social media. So what that could look like is, all right, if you need to scroll, especially if you do it for business, right? I schedule my content out now for the most part, but if you need to go on for business, schedule your time, right? So if you're selling on TikTok, how long you're going to sell on TikTok? I know some people spend 2, 3, 4 hours. That may not be the thing for you, right? Maybe it's selling for an hour, or maybe it's putting your content out or scheduling to go live for an hour, right? Schedule those things out so you're not, and then set the timer and then come off. Use your do not disturb. Our kids do it all the time. I can't even get a hold of my kids. What is going on with that, right? Everything is do not disturb. I'm like, what? You don't even need a phone. Okay. And why you need do not disturb? You don't have no business. But the tip, create boundaries, right? Limit your social media. Use your do not disturb. Use your timer on your phone. And if you want to know how much time, where your time is going, check your analytics on your phone. It will absolutely tell you how much time you're spending in different areas. And I get it. I use my phone for a lot of things too. I watch my podcasts and stuff like that from my phone. I watch my content from my phone. So I understand your take for that. However, if you look at it and you're spending 8 hours to 8 to 13 hours per week, then that can tell you where your success is going. I'm just going to say that. Okay. So, how the gap in the game process can help you. So, now that we've kind of talked about assessing your year, looked at the 3 strategies to get you back on schedule, which is time blocking, your big 3 non-negotiables, eliminate time wasters. Let's talk about how the gap in the game process can be a game changer when it comes to finishing 2024 strong. All right. So, by focusing on the gains, we're talking about the progress you made so far. It's going to help you build that confidence and momentum, because most people are not doing what they want to do because they lack confidence. They don't think that they can. But how do you gain confidence? Is you by doing it, right? So repetition is mastery. So if you want to start a podcast, I was talking to somebody recently and she was like, I want to start a podcast. And she was like, oh, I need this, I need that, da, 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 da. And I'm like, no, you don't. You need to start, because you're looking for it to be perfect. It's not. I started doing these videos and I started back maybe 2017. That was horrible, right? And as I grow, right, in my industry, as I grow as a person, as I continue with my system of success, I grow when I come and I speak to you. So it helps me with my confidence and it helps you gain momentum. When you're like, oh my God, you look back and like, oh, I was able to do this, right? And oh, I got it, right? It helps you build that. That's how you build the confidence. You just have to do the thing over and over again. And is it going to be great in the beginning? No. And right, we all get to grow. Understand that. And if you need permission, today is a day that you get permission from me to say, go after that thing. Start the podcast, start going live. No one's going to be great in the beginning. No one can start off great. It's no such thing, but we can make progress every single day. Okay. So it's going to help you. And so then by acknowledging the gap, and what we said was the gap is the places where we still have some ways to go to get to that goal. Again, we said that it's going to give you feedback. Why do you need this feedback? Because you need to know where you need to adjust, and you need to know it's time to keep going, right? Because if so, for example, if you looked at, if you had your goal set for December 2024 and you realize, okay, I may need to make some adjustments either in the business, or I may need to make some adjustments in what I said the overall goal was going to be to make sure that I hit it, the time is now, right? And it's okay to adjust and it's okay to pivot. It's never okay to quit. I'm going to say it again. It's okay to adjust. It's okay to pivot. Never okay to quit. All right. The gap is just feedback. It's not failure. And I know people, it's like, we need to acknowledge that there's failure. Okay. Acknowledge that it's failure. But what is failure? Failure is learning. When I was growing up in school, I had to learn division and multiplication. And let me tell you something. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I had to get the problem wrong to learn how to get it right. And I wasn't a failure in school. I was learning. So again, people can call it what they want to call it because everybody needs to be so real today. You call it failure. I'm gonna say the gap is feedback, and I'm learning lessons. Okay, it's all because it's just showing you where you need to grow, and everyone needs to grow. So why in the world do I get to be a failure? Even if the business didn't work out last time, it didn't make me a failure. I had to learn. Sometimes you have to learn, right? It didn't work. Okay, did you learn a lesson from it? All right, let's move forward. Okay, and that's the thing. Language is everything. Perspective is everything. I don't speak the language of dreamers and delusions. I speak the language of the truth, because if your children were going to school and they got the problem wrong, you wouldn't sit there and say, oh, you're a failure. Some parents, if you do, we need to talk about it. Okay, we need to talk about it because they are learning, and you had to learn too. All right, let me get off that soapbox. So here's the truth though. If you keep focusing on the gaps in what you haven't achieved, you're gonna stay stuck. That's why I want you to focus. That's why I want you to assess the gains. It's gonna keep you stuck. That's why many people don't go forward, they don't move forward. It's like take that one simple step, that one simple thing, that next thing, right? And so, what do I do if I'm feeling stuck? Just do the next right thing. What feels natural to you, even if it's sending an email to your accountability partner and say, "Hey, listen, I feel stuck today." I had to do that yesterday. I was like, man, and I didn't realize how exhausted I was, and I text my accountability partner. I was like, "Hey," because she had a week the week prior, and I was like, "Hey, today is my day. I know I'm supposed to get things done, and I just didn't. I just was laying here." And she helped me walk through it like I helped her walk through it. And guess what happened at the end of the night? Everything that I needed to have done, I got done. Right? So sometimes the next big thing is reaching out to somebody who can help you get perspective, who can help you shift what's going on with you, or who can say, hey, listen, get some rest. And then when you get up, get busy. Okay, because if not, you're gonna stay stuck. So when you shift to the gains, you're like, man, that's what I do. I'm like, look how far I came. In 2024, look what all the things I did. I launched my brand new community. I invested into the highest level I've ever invested in myself with a new coach, right? I have, successfully navigated being a mom of adults for the past year because my baby is no longer a baby anymore, right? And listen, that's success. Okay, navigating grown children. I've successfully learned how to say no and stick to my boundaries. That's huge. And the problem is people discount that. Don't you do that. Don't you discount that. Don't you discount that. I've successfully been consistent with, my videos, doing my self-love Sunday videos. That's huge. I want you to sit and do that for yourself too. So when you remember how far you're going, you're like, all right, girl, you did that. All right, man, I did that. Now let's keep going. Let's end 2024 with a bang, right? Maybe I join a community of like-minded individuals. Maybe I hire that coach. Maybe I make sure that I get in therapy. Maybe I make sure that because I'm already set in my business or in my career, I get the time in with my children. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's taking care of your physical body. Whatever that is, where you have that gap, remember how far you came and then use that as momentum to keep going. All right. And also remember, you further than you think. A lot of people just don't even realize it because they don't go back and assess. You're a lot further than you were. It's okay. And so, what you can do from September to the end of the year, at the end of each month, do a gap and gain assessment, right? So, right now, I want you to assess from January 2024 up until August 31st, right? I want you to assess that. And then at the end of September, November, December, I want you to assess, okay? And then celebrate yourself, right? It could be simple things, right? We don't always have to celebrate with food, okay, people? It could be, going for a massage, go book yourself a massage. It could be, doing again something that brings you what brings you joy. It could be going to a dance class or something like that. Do something that makes you happy. Do something that brings you joy. You should be doing something that brings you joy, every month, right? I understand that people can't do it all the time. And you know what? Sometimes we have to find that free thing that brings you joy. And it could be like with me, sometimes it's turn on YouTube and dancing, getting busy, okay? In my living room. That brings me joy. All right. And it may not bring you joy, but find the thing that brings you joy. Celebrate yourself, right? And then continue to go. Remember, it's okay to pivot and adjust. It is never okay to quit on yourself. Here, it's okay to pivot and adjust. It is never okay to quit on yourself. Don't you quit on yourself. Don't you quit on you. Don't you quit on you. Okay. And again, these methods and procedures that we talked about today, understanding the gap in the game process, getting your schedule back together, looking at the top three strategies. Remember, time blocking, right? Focusing on the big three. What are your big three? Eliminating time wasters, right? Using the gap in game process to help you for the rest of this year to stay strong. Okay. Summer may be over, but your goals are still alive and waiting for you to finish strong. Let's make this year our strongest year yet. Use these strategies. It's going to help you. The time boxing, focus on the big three, eliminating those distractions, and combine that with the gap and gain. I'm telling you, success is in your schedule. Take control of your time and you'll take control of your life. Success is in your schedule. Take control of your time and you'll control the rest of your life. I pray that you find this helpful. I hope you have the most amazing Sunday, and I will talk to you. And also, again, feel free to let me know how this worked for you. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I really want to do. I know I actually really do care. There's some people out here that put out free content. They actually care if people, gain success from it. So let me know. All right. Also, if you're looking for a community of like-minded individuals, I actually have a community called 1% Nation. There's links down if you're watching this on YouTube where you can go click, see if you want to apply, if this community for you, if you're looking to grow or looking to in 2024 with a bang. There, if you're looking for a coach, same as well. If it's not me, find somebody who fits you and or fits where you're headed. But please invest in yourself. Have a most amazing Sunday. We'll talk to you next week.